Hello and welcome to this week's look at action and stunts on film and television. How are you? I hope you are well. If you saw my social media during the course of the week, you will know that last weekend I had the honour of attending the BSR, the British Stunt Register Ball, which was at the Grosvenor House Hotel, London's Park Lane, for a glittering event to celebrate the stunt register as we know it now. And it was also an opportunity to meet lots of friends that I haven't seen for ages, and it was a fabulous, fabulous evening. Part of the evening, I was there. The BSR, the stunt committee, had invited me there, and they wanted me to do some work on some videos and some bits and pieces. Because of the archive that I've got and some of the clips and bits and pieces, then there was a section which would be an in memoriam to those we've lost since last we were together. I did it back in, I did the last two, 2015, I think 2015, 2016, and then 2018. So that was the last one we did. And since 2018, it's a very large number of individuals, 17 in point of fact altogether, that we've lost since then. So I wanted to put something together. If you heard the podcast this week, you'll know the names, but you didn't get a chance to see the footage. So I'm going to play that for you in a moment. And then we'll have a chat about a really exciting part of the evening that I got an opportunity to be involved in as well. So this is the In Memoriam from 2018 to 2025. Here we go.
Rows and flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere. Looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and they snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's cloud illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds. At all. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels, the dizzy dancing way that you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way, but now it's just another show. And you leave them laughing when you go. And if you can, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love's illusions that I recall. I really don't know love. I really don't know love at all. to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way. Oh, but now, old friends, they're acting strange, and they shake their heads and they tell me that I've changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in living every day. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know life at all. It's life's illusions that I recall. I really don't know life. I really don't know life at all.
So, as you saw there, they're all the names. You may not be familiar with the names. You may know some of the names. You may not know some of the faces. Well, hopefully that will be an opportunity there to have put two and two together. You know the names, maybe some of the pictures that they've been involved in. And it was what was exciting for me was watching it on the big screen. They had a big screen behind the stage there that they were showing these videos on, and the reaction from the audience. Now, the audience is made up of 400 BSR members. They are professionals who've been in the business for some time, or they are individuals who have just got on, brand new members of the Stunt Register. And to watch and listen particularly to their responses during these videos was very moving indeed, particularly in this video, because there's a lot of action that goes on, and you could I heard audible gasps from. There's a moment where Roy Scammell, it's from a movie in 1949, I want to say, Once a Jolly Swagman, and he's riding a speedway motorcycle, and he comes up and hits another motorcycle and comes off. And if you did that gag nowadays, there'd be a whole bunch of ways in order to make it safe. The bike would be tethered, the stunt performer would be tethered, and then they could remove those wires in CG. This is absolutely him doing it for real. And from the back of the room, you heard, oh, you know, it was a really brutal piece of footage. And yet, you know, when I interviewed him many moons ago, he almost glossed over it as just being one of those gags, you know. But it was very exciting to watch, and also it was very important for me to get the tone of the whole thing right, because some of the individuals that were named in that video, Phil Lonergan's son was there, and in fact was sat at my table. And watched it, and Denise Ryan's son was also there, and he came up to me afterwards and said, "Look, thank you very much for doing that. It was great to see Mum getting the applause that she so richly deserved." And Denise was one of those individuals who was quite a game changer as far as stunt coordinating was concerned for women. There were women on the register at that time, but they weren't really being given the opportunity to push forward and coordinate. And Denise quite happily pushed through those boundaries. She was doing lots of stuff on soaps that were usually the job of men. Coronation Street, EastEnders, for instance. That particular fire gag that you saw was from Young Sherlock Holmes. It's a great gag, and it's captured well. It's split between two cameras, and you see her running away at the end, off into the distance, which was very exciting. So lots of stuff there. We then moved on to the Lifetime Achievement Awards. This is a thing that they started last year, Lifetime Achievements, and it was important that, again, the reason I do this whole thing in the first place is because recognition where recognition is due. These people not only are doing this work on a regular basis, but they are paving the way for those who come after. And the first nominee was Vic Armstrong, and it makes a lot of sense, really, when you look at it. And people have said, well, why hasn't he been nominated before? Well, yeah, I see that, and he's been responsible for some of the great pieces of action in cinema. He's also been responsible for giving people their start in the career. A lot of the people that we honoured that night were giving people those chances to go, right, I'll give you a break. You need a break? Super. Come on down, let's get some stuff done. Presenting his award was Eunice Huthart, who, Eunice's story. She won Gladiators, the TV show, and on the strength of winning that was contacted by Simon Crane and said, look, we'd like you to work on a Bond picture, which was GoldenEye, and she did some doubling there. And ever since that time, then she was given an opportunity to go off, and she was Angelina Jolie's double for many, 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 many moons. They got on very well together. She's godmother to her children, in point of fact. So, they really did get on very well. And the idea that the artist will say, well, I don't need to do it. Eunice can do it. That's what Angelina would do. And consequently, when Eunice came up on stage, we watched a video of Vic in action. And then she came on stage to present his Lifetime Achievement Award. And she made a very, very moving speech. She was visibly moved by the whole thing. And she said, I'd seen that in Memoriam, and it just knocked me for six. The amount of people that she knew, that she had worked with, that everybody in the room knew, who had made such a difference to the day-to-day running of action on the big screen and small screen. And she was very, very moved by it. And she implored those young members of the audience, those people who've just got on, don't forget that you won't be where you are today if it wasn't for people like this who were doing the job that they did, and doing it without the same sort of safety measures that are put in place nowadays. So it was very, very poignant. And she then presented the award to Vic. It's a lovely speech. He's currently working on a picture down at Pinewood with a certain Mr. Cruz. And he said, I had a feeling something was going on when I arrived at the hotel this evening, and there was a magnum of champagne waiting for him with a note from Tom. So that was rather nice. And then the other thing, which is nice, is that because I know the individuals concerned, I have to then keep all of this secret from them, right? I pride myself on, being a good sort who, if I'm told to keep a secret, I'll keep a secret, You will remember that I went to Sweden not that long ago, back in November, and went with Paul Weston for a film festival out there, and I knew then that he was going to be receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I was sat at Paul's table, and when his video came on screen, I looked round at him, and he looked at me and pointed and gave it this, which I thought was lovely. But again, huge amount of great stuff, and the applause from the audience, standing ovations for all of these individuals. And he had his award presented to him by Franklin Henson, Mark Henson, who was Frank Henson's son. You would know Franklin if you're a Bond fan. He doubled Valentin Zukovsky, doubled Robbie Coltrane in the Caviar Factory sequence in The World Is Not Enough. There is also a wonderful moment in the Zorro picture where a carriage, which is being driven by Mark, he's got the horses in the front, and it goes up in the air and he lands. It's the most remarkable stunt. It really is. Well, he was responsible for that as well. So, and he, got up and said, Paul gave me one of my first jobs. And this is, the giving it back. This is what these individuals do. And it was terrific that Mark Franklin was able to get up and say, I owe him a great deal. And this is just a little way of being able to give something back and present it to him. So Mark presented his award. Again, Paul, very nice speech, completely off the cuff because he was unaware of it. But it was lovely that he was able to be recognised and at an event like this, where working for that organisation, the British Stunt Register, and Paul's been a very active member of the register and the committee for many, many years. Not only did he front the stunt ball for many years, but also with lots of their charity events that they used to do. Paul was always there, giving to local charities. They would provide for local charities. They would do everything. So it was nice that he managed to get his award that night. And then it was time for Rocky Taylor to receive his Lifetime Achievement Award. Again, he didn't know either. And I didn't know up until about 11 o'clock that morning when I received a phone call asking me if I would like to present him with his award, which was just, I was completely taken aback by the whole thing. Tina Maskell rang me and she said, would you do it? I said, I'd be delighted. Of course I would, Do you think I'm the right person for this? And she said, well, you clearly know Rocky very well. You wrote his book with him, and I think it would be very nice. So I said, well, absolutely. If you're happy with it, I will be more than happy. So I had to, it's a party after all, and I like a glass of wine. Who doesn't? But on that particular occasion, I was on very strict instructions by myself. In my head, I had said, right, have a glass of champagne when you get there, have a little glass of wine with dinner maybe, and then hang on until the end, which is exactly what I did. So I was very pleased with myself and my vigilance towards that. And again, Rocky's video went up. It's an extraordinary video, and I've always loved the music that goes along with it and the beats of the whole thing and the way in which the video works. And again, there's some terrific footage on there of Rocky in his element and being that guy, that guy that I saw many years ago and realized he's fantastic. I love this guy. I think he's amazing. And then getting an opportunity to write a book with him, because when he rang me and said, look, I did a video about him, and he said, look, I've seen stuff that I haven't seen for 30, 40 years. You've uncovered it. You obviously know more about me than I do, and I'd like you to write my book, which is I was overjoyed with. So doing that and getting an opportunity to do it and to go up on stage and to say a few words about the guy was just an absolute thrill. I remember saying, somebody once said to me, if you never meet your heroes because they'll always let you down. And I said, well, look, this is never the case with him. Rocky is Rocky. And he always does. He always makes you feel very warm, very welcome. He's a lovely guy, apart from being an absolute icon and a hero. So for me, and to get an opportunity to present my hero with a Lifetime Achievement Award was just absolutely remarkable. So, and also if I may say, the awards, the Lifetime Achievement Awards, they're really heavy. So I had to take it for him. I got him up on stage. I had to take it for him. I gave it to, there was a speaker, and he took the award and popped it down onto a table. And then I had to carry it back over to Rocky's table, and then to make sure that it got into the taxi with him later on. And it's a heavy piece of kit, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, but a heavy piece of kit. And he said exactly the same thing. He said that he was bowled over by this remarkable gesture by the BSR. As far as he's concerned, it's a job he does. All of the performers said that. It's just the job we do. And to get recognition like this was very important. And I urged people to come over and just say hello. Come over and say hello to these guys, They won't bite unless you want them to, but, they're in good form. Come over, say hello, and go, look, I know who you are, and I've seen you work, and it's a great thrill to be in the same postcode with you, never mind being in the same room. So that was a great thrill for me, and I'm thrilled that Rocky was so happy. After that, we had Andy Bradford. Andy Bradford got his Lifetime Achievement Award. Andy Bradford, of course, again, from a Bond perspective, he is 009. Not all the time, but he is 009 for the lead-up to the crashing through the window of the ambassador's residence, which was a different stuntman. But, yes, so Andy received his award. And also, I'd like to say that what was terrific, there's a bunch of clips. One of them, because he's a very good actor, he's an actor first, right? Happened to then be given an opportunity, and he thanked Vic for the opportunity of putting him forward to work on Flash Gordon in 1980, which was one of his first pictures as a stuntman. He'd been a very successful actor up to that point, in plays, on television, done some film work as well. He was in Star Wars, of course, as an actor. But he developed an ability, again, through diving and swimming and gymnastics. And there's a stair fall that he does in the opening part of an Inspector Morse, where he's a guy who runs a brewery. And it's a remarkable stair fall because the flight of metal stairs that he's going down, they're practically vertical from top to bottom. And he said the only issue I could see was that at the very bottom there was a pole, a post, a metal post, and around it were sort of metal bits and pieces. And he got lots of sacks to put around it and managed to get the job done. It's a beautiful shot. In one shot, it's absolutely fabulous. So that was a great thrill. He was overjoyed. He was more concerned that he said, "Well, look, I'm not wearing a dinner suit or anything because nobody told me. I just thought it was a dinner." And that was the way in which that whole secrecy thing happened. You keep it very, very quiet, and the genuine reaction on his face and his family and his table and all the other bits and pieces was just wonderful and from the room. So that was a great thrill to do that, and also the final award, which was given posthumously, because dear Nick Hobbs, who was to receive this award, sadly passed away just before Christmas. He'd worked on lots of pictures. Again, a very good actor, good horseman, an all-rounder, could do all sorts. His last picture, I think, was Blitz, where the World War II picture, Saoirse Ronan, of course, in that picture. And so he was the recipient of that. I'd put a video together just outlining certain bits and pieces of his career. And then Tina Maskell had said that they'd had the award and they were going to present it at his wake. They were able to watch the funeral. They were working, but they were able to watch the video on the bus, so they got an opportunity because there was a live link to it. So that was nice that they were there, and it was a terrific event, a really terrific event. You get to meet people that, again, my heroes, or people that I know, people that knew me that hadn't seen me for a while, So all of that sort of stuff, those type of events are fantastic. And a couple of faces there which I hadn't seen for a very, very long time. Simon Crane was there. Jordi Caceres was there as well. Wonderful stuntman from Spain, who, of course, was one of the Indiana Jones doubles on Last Crusade, because Vic was coordinating, so needed to be able to split that doubling role with somebody else. Jordi's a great mate of his. So it was nice to see them there. So many people that I hadn't seen for ages. Elaine Ford, Danny Burnett, Abby Collins, just wonderful. Matt Sterling was doing a wonderful job because he's a magician and did a routine. I was literally sat here. He was with Paul Weston's daughter, Jacqueline, and did this remarkable routine with a fork. And simply by manipulating it, managed to bend the forks and twist the whole thing around. It was Uri Geller-esque, only with a bit more aplomb and slightly bigger shoulders. But a huge evening. There was a band on. The DJ at the end of the night was a guy called Brandon Block. He's quite popular, apparently. I'd left by this time. It took a lot out of me. I'm getting to that age now where I just can't stay till the... I never want to be the first to leave a party. But I also never want to be the last, so you have to plan everything in ahead. But a wonderful evening, and it was a great thrill to be there. It's a huge honour, and I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed some of the images and the video that was there. We will do it all again next week with a bit more of something exciting. Not many chapters to go with the Bob Simmons book. So if you're a listener or you've been reading along, and I know there have been people contacting me saying, look, this is really good, I'm enjoying this, thank you very much. We do a chapter each week. We're at chapter 10 now, so only a couple of chapters to go, 12 chapters in total. We've got that to do, and then once that's done, it's going to go onto YouTube as an audiobook in full on there. So if you're enjoying the podcast and you're keen on getting hold of it, because I know the book hasn't been available for some time, well, it's coming together and it'll be there very soon. Check out, please, the Pod Dojo Network. They're responsible for the podcast, and they've got a lot of lovely podcasts on there as well. If you feel the urge to be connected with books or with Bond, particularly the Really 007 team are on there, and the For Your Reconsideration page with Rob Parker and the boys. So check that out if you will, and we'll do it all again next week. And until then, it's bye for now.